card availability really.
Sure.
Like some people just own
got
the
my
card.
deck.
Right. I own the cards for
Storm.
Hawks
Yeah.
or Storm, so I am
Right.
playing that because I don't have $1,000 to build something else.
Sure.
So if nothing else, that sort of keeps some diversity in the format. So we have the names are not correct.
I believe the names we have are incorrect here.
So we'll have that. That's
Kelvin Young on the right-handed side of your screen, not Yuri and Cecil. Yuri and Cecil was our champion in the standard portion.
Yeah.
Congratulations again to him. And Robb Miknus on the left is playing.
This is another sort of capital L.
Yeah.
This is mono white creatures, I guess. With
People, I think the term people generally use for this deck is Death and Taxes.
Yes.
Which lists deck designer Matt Sperling. I don't know that.
Yeah.
I don't know that Sperling
He is the originator of this deck, so that's big shout out to Matt Sperling.
But yeah, this is an Aether Vial sort of Mangara of Karundor deck that uses Karakas to bounce Mangara in response to its ability to repeatedly exile opposing permanents.
And just has a variety of utility guys, Stoneforge Mystic and what have you.
Yeah, it's also a Stoneforge Mother of Runes deck, so lots of powerful things, but the sort of cornerstone interaction is that.
And there's a Chalice for one, which is not particularly good.
There's already a Mother in play, so Chalice is a lot less effective here.
Fortunately for Young, Mother Runes is actually surprisingly anemic, given that he's a creature deck, because all of his guys are artifacts.
But looking at his deck here, I don't even know what Copper Gnomes does.
Yeah, we gotta
have to look this up. Legacy is a format where you need to use Gatherer more than anything else. So what's Copper Gnomes?
And there's a Thalia out of...
Thalia is more of an issue. Kelvin's deck relies pretty heavily on the various artifact mana acceleration, though he can use Metalworker, which is a creature and can come down. Yeah,
and now that he has a Chalice set on one, he doesn't have to worry about Source of Plowshare. So if he actually has a Metalworker, he can just go right over the top. He can also play a land and cast Grim Monolith. So
he's not in terrible shape, but it will slow him down.
Thalia can impede him, but he's capable of generating so much mana that he might just be able to ignore it, depending on how his hand is composed.
Actually, I don't see the Goblin Builders we were talking about in this deck. I just see Great Furnace.
I think I saw someone else building this deck.
Okay. He just has Red Blasts and Blood Moon for his red. So Copper Gnomes is a 2 casting cost artifact creature. With 4, sacrifice this, put an artifact from your hand into play.
So he's paying a mana here to cast a Mox Diamond.
Discarding
a Wasteland.
So both of these decks have a pretty heavy mana denial component. The Death and Taxes deck has
there are the gnomes.
And there's gnomes. And Robb also
don't feel bad, Robb, because I had to read that thing too.
We didn't know what those did either.
So Young has a variety of huge plays off of a Copper Gnomes. He has Sundering Titan, Blightsteel Colossus, and Wormcoil Engine, all of which are...
Though the Sundering Titan is amusingly poor here. Yes. There are no land types in play on either side of the table. Legacy.
But now that his plows are locked out, actually just a 7/10.
Yeah, just
gigantic.
Right. I mean, a Wormcoil or just a monster. Either of those is pretty powerful. Though Young is, with his Ancient Tomb getting wastelanded, he is a little low in mana.
Yeah.
He drew another Mox Diamond, but I don't know if he has enough
port's locking him down right here.
Yeah, he's getting ported on his wasteland. I don't know if he has... Looks like a Great Furnace in his hand, so he is going to play that. And he's going to cast...
Spends a mana, cast a Mox Opal.
Oh, okay.
So next turn he has enough mana to actually just go over the top of the port.
Well, he can also just Copper Gnomes in his upkeep.
Yeah. He has enough mana to go gnoming.
Go gnoming. It's not really a phrase I've heard before. I'm going to go gnoming. Copper Gnomes was a bit overshadowed by Bottle Gnomes. It was the lesser gnome in the pair. But now
Ticking Gnomes was a guy too.
Well, yeah,
right? Was he gnomes?
Was it just a bunch of gnomes you could sacrifice? That was just sort of the thing.
That was a theme. Yeah.
But there was like across various sets. This is in Saga.
Legacy had the Ticking Gnomes.
Well, but wasn't Bottle Gnomes in Tempest?
Tempest.
Yeah. So
Some cross-block gnome synergy.
This is a theme. This is what gnomes do in the game.
Yeah.
Is get sacrificed for effects. They're artifacts.
You break them open. So Miknus just confirming what Chalice does here.
Here's the flavor text of Copper Gnomes. Start with 11 gnomes and remove parts, and come morning, you'll have 10 and a monster the likes of which you've never seen.
So we actually might literally see a monster.
Yeah, actually, it's entirely possible that we will see.
Never seen a Blightsteel Colossus in play before, except in these circumstances, so.
Or in Vintage.
I haven't burned much Vintage. I assume it's a feature of the format.
Oh, yeah.
Compelling and rich. So I think Miknus is probably just debating between, whether or not he can afford a port or if he needs to advance his board. But since Young has access to 4 mana in his upkeep to gnomes, then I think you just have to play your cards.
Right, yeah, you can't.
You're not going to nickel in this guy.
Right, you really think this is a guy beaten by a 2-power attacker?
Yeah.
I also think it's possible that he wanted to send Mother of Runes on a previous turn. It seems like Mother of Runes, he held back his Mother of Runes.
Yeah.
When it probably just, this is a matchup where it looks like Mother of Runes isn't really going to do very much.
Yeah, it's hard to fight that instinct of.
Right. You usually want to keep back your Mother of Runes to protect something. You haven't seen any colored mana, and what do you really, are we really hoping to protect? But yeah, it's definitely something that people are very used to is, all right, Mother, you don't attack. Mom stays home.
All right. I have to assume at this point there's some judge-related something or other that's causing the delay.
There does seem to be a bit of a delay.
Yeah.
Not really. I don't really have any information about what's happening, but I'm not really sure what it could be about at this point.
Yeah.
I just saw a post on Twitter from Storm fan Liam Kane, who wrote the current board state on SCG Land makes me throw up. A Chalice and a Thalia? Who's having fun here?
Liam Kane, for those of you who do not know, sort of an LA legacy grinder, loves the Storm deck. Actually killed me in the top 8 of Los Angeles last year.
That was so funny to watch.
The turn one,
you're sitting there tanking. Yeah,
well, I'm just trying to.
Guys, forget about max, and then he just kills you turn 1.
Yeah, well,
guy, he's like, okay, you're dead.
He keeps 7, and my turn 1 Goblin guy flips over Lion's Eye Diamond, and I'm just like, I'm positive that I'm dead on this first turn.
Yeah. Well, there's some laughter between the two players, so it can't be too serious a sort of judge discussion here. I think they maybe figure out life totals or something.
Yeah, I'm not positive. I mean, an Ancient Tomb got ported one turn, so maybe there's some confusion about whether or not that triggers. I'm not sure.
It is not City of Brass. It's part of the ability that it deals damage.
All right, Magic.
So, were you playing a lot of Standard? Oh, okay, here we go. We're back in action here.
Playing a basic play. Oh, maybe not.
He's debating between that and Caracas.
Oh, maybe they're.
Okay. Both events are a total of.
All right, so Thalia in for
more information. Come on over to the side events area, and I'll be happy to talk to you about it.
So it looks like we got a hand with a Jotun Grunt. He's gonna take a point here.
And nope.
There is
Crusader. Another instance of protection not really mattering too much in a matchup. So we're not gonna get ported. And
do we have any?
That looks like a Worm Coil.
So he's gonna pass with his gnomes here.
He's like, all right, you want to attack?
The coast is clear.
Attack. I just got this 1/1, man. No big deal. Just some gnomes.
I'm stalling lands. I can't cast anything because you're Thalia.
They still have a room full of parts, though. Those gnomes. They still have the room full of parts. We'll see what happens. Come morning.
There might be a monster the likes of which you have never seen. Except if you played in the Standard Open yesterday, then you would have probably seen Worm Coil Engine at some point.
The likes of which
you
have not seen since yesterday.
All right, so taps 2 mana and plays a Jotun Grunt. Jotun,
who knows? And I'm guessing no attacks here.
A menagerie of relatively honest, light creatures,
Yeah, it's like
likely to be crushed under the weight of some gigantic monster here shortly.
And
all right,
tick tick tock.
Come on, something sweet.
Ooh,
he's got
any number of
he's got
things.
a Forge Master too.
Oh wow,
this is like Christmas morning.
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
okay, a relatively tame worm coil. He is not porting.
Ooh, and he just drew a Colossus. No ports.
So he's just going to sit back with his worm coil for the time being. Not in any huge rush to race because the worm coil holds off all of Miknus' action, and you just sort of want to wear down the Jotun Grunt too. Like there's no reason to race when you have that sort of inevitability.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and if what just happened there?
I think they're just resolving the Grunt.
Oh, okay, yeah. And if Robb isn't porting Kelvin and Kelvin draws a land, he just cast his Forge Master, and that'll start getting really tricky.
Yep. So we're gonna break the Horizon Canopy open here. He draws a Stone Forge, which is a nice little draw.
That can get him a Batterskull, a Sword of Light and Shadow, and a Jitte.
He very quickly pulls the Batterskull to the bottom of his library here. Debating between that and Jit.
I don't. What do you? I think that you want something that's going to make.
I think you need a Jit, right?
Really?
And he's going for it.
All right. Jitte's probably best.
Because you can start chump attacking with some of your other
Random
creatures,
dudes, and then just
put on the
Crusader. Yeah, that's probably good.
Like Batterskull is just going to lead to him sitting there again, and I'm not sure he can win the game that way.
Yeah, he'd have to actually equip Batterskull.
All right, so Kelvin has just drawn a Metal Worker, which
that matters.
Yes, it definitely
matters a lot.
I sort of want to wasteline his port here because I think it's important to constrict Miknus' mana. Like assuming your Metal Worker's not going to die.
Right, and it shouldn't because you have the I definitely agree with that. I think you want to kill the port, or even potentially kill the Caracas.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
be able to block Caracas, your guy, is a relevant thing against Wormcoil.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I would get the Caracas makes sense.
Because I mean, Kelvin's gonna have access to a ton of mana next turn thanks to Metalworker.
Yeah, he might actually be hard casting his Colossus.
I believe he has 2 or 3 artifacts in his hand. He's a bit away from. If he has 3 in his hand, if he draws an artifact, he can cast it. But I think he only has 2. I think he has a pair of Forge Masters.
So he's just loses his Grunt and draws another Grunt. So right now his hand appears to be Grunt, Jit, and then 1 cast, like 2 plows and a vial that are currently locked out by the chalice.
A number of stranded cards.
All right.
So it looks like he's passing back, and now Metalworker is online. What shall I work of this metal?
All right.
How much mana?
8.
Just 8.
Just 8.
Oh, he is hard casting. He did have 3.
Just
this. That's all I got. All I got.
All right.
Your turn. Go.
Back to you.
Have you actually seen that guy hardcast ever?
No, this is the first.
I've seen him. I've seen him tinkered for. I've seen him oathed up.
Yeah.
I've never seen the guy hardcast. Not once. Not once. Not never.
Miknus has a pretty, impressive board of utility creatures.
Yeah, it's like I got all these things that are really good against some decks.
All right. So he's going to pass the. He's just going to equip his Crusader and hang back on D. But this is going to be a. This is going to be a tough nut to crack.
Yeah, I think Yeah, I don't know how this is. I don't know how this game goes.
So 8 again.
Just another 8.
Just 2 Forge Masters.
Casting something
else.
else.
No.
Is he just?
All right,
Okay.
man.
All right.
I wanted to see it.
Fine. I yield. I've had enough.
All right, you win. Fine. All right, on to the sideboard here. So, Miknus actually has some reasonable sideboard cards here. He has 4 Phyrexian Revokers
That
and
matters.
2 Leaning Relic Warders.
What format is this?
So, he's got some action for the matchup. Revoker's got a variety of
definitely.
good cards.
Kelvin has some Pithing Needles, a duplicate. Pithing Needle I can see maybe bringing in, but you don't. You just want to overpower the.
You think he wants
the white deck.
you think he wants a 4th Trinisphere?
Maybe I could certainly see that.
I mean, it's a lot riskier. It's a lot riskier on the draw because if Miknus goes just turn 1 land Vial, then your Trinisphere is not worth anything.
Right.
So I guess the bigger question is if he has any cards that are bad in his deck. I guess Mindslaver seems pretty stinky against the creature. Like, Miknus' deck doesn't do anything very powerful, so I assume Mindslaver is just not very good.
Slaver seems pretty bad. Pithing Needle is probably better than Slaver.
Yeah. And then, I'm not sure, is he supposed to like shave out mana? I'm not really.
This is not a matchup I am familiar with the sideboarding intricacies.
Yeah. So, yeah, the mana base is sort of hard for me to get my head wrapped around here with the
There's 20 land.
2 Mox Diamonds. 2 Mox Diamonds. I guess he needs colored mana for some of the sideboard cards because he has like Red Blaster and Blood Moon.
Yeah.
So, Mox Diamond does not seem spectacular in the abstract, but if he's sideboarding some red cards, then I guess he just needs that stuff.
Seems somewhat odd to me that he has 3 Mox Opals and not 4. I feel like Mox Opal is just going to be, But I guess actually Mox Opal doesn't enable turn 1 Trinisphere, which is a big deal, or turn 1 Metalworker.
Yeah.
So he doesn't actually have that many things to get him Metalcraft quickly. So actually, now that I think about it, I certainly wouldn't play 4.
Yeah, Mox Diamond is color fixing and enables some of the more explosive draws. Mox Opal is the card you just kind of want to draw at some point in the game.
Yeah.
So that was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Good way to kick off the day.
Absolutely. I'm just going to cast this 12 mana creature.
Yeah.
Your turn.
And, like I said, these are the kind of decks that add a lot of character to what Legacy is as a format. I remember, like, Columbus, that Grand Prix a couple years ago, playing, something close to 14 rounds and playing against Zoo 3 times, and everything else was, like, 1 copy. You know what I mean? A counterbalance. It's like Zoo 3 times, counterbalance 3 times, and then a bunch of singletons along the way, so you just get a pretty sweet field.
A wide range of possible options in this field. And
you have to kind of get your expectations in the right place before joining a Legacy tournament. There are going to be some games where you just get locked out or killed very quickly.
Right.
Which, if this was happening over and over again or happening in Standard, it would be a big source of frustration. But, if you understand what the expectations are signing up, they just add a lot of character to the experience,
Yeah, I mean, there certainly are, the games where you just, you mulligan, you keep like a 2-lander, you get wastelanded twice and you're dead.
Yeah, I think Wasteland for me is probably the most infuriating part of the format, just because it happens so regularly. Chalice for one can also be frustrating, but there's just a very narrow range of decks that can facilitate that, and they're incurring a big opportunity cost in deck building. Whereas Wasteland's pretty close to a free roll and ends in a lot of games just being over very quickly.
One of the interesting things is that decks with Wasteland are often more vulnerable to Wasteland because of the fact that they're playing more colorless sources.
Yeah, exactly. So
a lot of opportunity cost there.
Miknus is taking a mulligan while Young is content with his 7. Yeah, and some of the mana bases of Legacy are almost wallowing in getting land screwed by.
Yeah.
It is almost by intentional construction appear to be vulnerable to Wasteland.
Yeah. There are the decks that many of the most powerful possible decks. Things like the Rug Delver deck. That deck's very very clearly super powerful, but has no basics. It like has
4 of its own Wasteland. Yeah.
So it's like it's 3 colors. So often even the single Wasteland can just end games against that.
Yeah.
But when you don't get wasteland, or when you're the one doing the wastelanding, with an aggressive start, your deck certainly looks really good.
Yeah, the rug mirrors especially are often this like shuck and jiving of stifles and wastelands,
right? Yeah,
trying to land screw the other person.
As neither player can like cast a spell, or just hoping to kill them with a nameable mongoose, which frequently does not have threshold. All right, so
turn 1 Caracas is answered by turn 1 Chalice for 1.
I imagine Robb Miknus wishes he had Fracturing Gust.
I do not know what that card is.
He's a hybrid green-white, hybrid green-white, hybrid green-white 2. Destroy all artifacts. Gain 2 life for each artifact destroyed this way.
Be pretty sweet. Doesn't stop the Colossus though.
It's true. It's true.
So Young is now in the unfortunate bind of having to decide what he wants to do with the City of Traders. The turn 1 City of Traders is not the ideal land draw to be starting with.
Yeah, it's. He's just saying go.
Yep.
So it's interesting that playing the turn 1 Chalice there is locking out Robb's possible play. Ooh, that's a fast clock now. It does lock out Robb from being able to source the punches or anything. But if you're not actually playing anything, is it necessary to get that Chalice online that quickly?
Right.
And looks like we have a second City of Traders in hand.
Miknus bringing some honest beatdowns here. The gnomes. No, you know what these do. So if
you
he
guys
sits on
met.
So Young has another City of Traders in his hand, so he can just pop off next turn.
He has effective Tinker from hand. I did not know that card existed.
The gnomes?
Copper gnomes, yeah.
I remember being a garbagey rare kind of when I got back into Magic. I took a hiatus and Rat Cycle.
Yeah, I guess I actually pretty much didn't play for most of Urza. So.
Phyrexian Revoker, I assume this will name the Copper Gnomes.
The poor gnomes.
Push across the table just to verify.
What is that thing?
And a Sarah Avenger. Capping off the motley crew of beatdowns.
Some honest creatures doing an honest day's work, attacking and blocking. So Kelvin in a bit of a
pickle here. Is it lethal? Are we lethal next turn? 2, 6, 8, 11. No, he's on the exact C's.
Wait.
Exact 1, assuming nothing gets added to the clock. So 3 mana. Wasteland replacing a City Traders are here. Lightning Greaves. Onto the gnomes.
It's like, all right. We can't even generate that much mana next turn. I guess we can. I guess if we Metalworker, we can potentially play like City of Traders, Metalworker, Greaves it, play something huge, Greaves it, kill you.
I mean, it would have to be Colossus, right? That's the only thing that can one-shot from here.
I don't know that he has enough cards to do that.
Well, also, Miknus has a Stoneforge and an Avenger in his hand.
Sure.
So if he just holds back a Stoneforge on defense, the Bloodsteel can't kill him in one shot.
Yeah.
So even if Young's
it's like a 1
hand
plus
is
not big enough.
Even if Young's hand is as optimistically good as it can possibly be.
So everything's coming. So you just block the Revoker here, right?
Yeah, the Crusader. You're not going to change the clock appreciably. Right. It's still 1 turn, so.
Oh, I guess
nice chumping.
Sure.
So it's all the same, I think.
It doesn't really make a difference, I think.
Stoneforge. Going to get. Looks like he's getting the Jit again. Might as well. And I think he has a Sarah Avenger to level up the beatdowns.
So Kelvin down to 5 life. I guess he certainly couldn't afford to go to 1 there because he would just die to an Ancient Tomb. Like I can't really envision how he gets out of this at this point.
Nope.
Yeah, he also he agrees with me. Goes to shuffle up.
So being on the play versus being on the draw, obviously a huge deal in this matchup because some of Young's openings are just almost impossible for Miknus to get out of if he's on the draw. So for example, Young can just go turn 1 Trinisphere, and that's just
That's
a nightmare.
Just the ball game, probably.
Yeah, you had to relic warder against a deck that's going to be, wastelanding you and killing you very quickly.
Yep, absolutely.
You can also turn one Chalice for one, which is can be very good against a certain range of Miknus' hands as well.
I mean, if Miknus is a hand that relies on Aether Vial, a turn one Chalice
Or
is very
Plow to
powerful.
defend himself from certain things, yeah. So
we have some people asking what MUD stands for. I don't really know. I mean, I remember it was. I think it comes from mono brown, basically.
Yeah.
With MUD being brown.
Mono brown.
Because mono brown was what people called the all artifact decks for a while, and that just sort of became MUD.
Yep. Since I guess because MUD is brown. I don't know, the way that legacy decks and vintages get named is probably
I hate legacy deck names.
Yeah.
So many of them are just like Maverick.
Yeah, it's probably some reference to some Blue Oyster Cult song from 30 years ago. It's just something like that. But
at the Grand Prix,
I'm gonna give the community.
The Grand Prix in Indy, I just wrote my deck name. I was playing green white. I just wrote my deck name down as Iceman.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick a random Top Gun call sign because Maverick is exactly that. What in the world? It's like Goose, Jester, who knows?
I called my burn deck Lysol as a reference, as a Brooklyn Zoo reference.
Okay.
But then that one never got anywhere.
Someone says MUD stands for Metalworker Utter Domination.
Yeah, that's what we get for getting the community too much credit. MUD just being MUD is brown.
That makes way more sense.
Would have bought that for sure.
Metalworker Utter That's horrible.
Yeah.
I hate the name now. I liked MUD when it was just it's just brown. It's all these brown cards.
Please change the name to Metalworker underneath that guy's name, underneath Kelvin Young's name. Change that name to Metalworker.
But like Death and Taxes, what? Huh? What? I don't get it. There are the names that are intentionally obtuse, like the what was it, the Team America or whatever, that was
intentionally obtuse. I assumed when I heard Team America was a deck, I was like, sweet, there's some Lightning Angel Metally Mage beatdown deck. That was
from what I said,
and then I saw there's sinkholes and stuff.
Right.
Like, come on, man, don't get my hopes up. I was stoked at the thought of a Lightning Angel. Maybe some Goblin Trenches were involved. I don't know. It was open to my imagination.
Prophetic Bolt you. I definitely like to be a Lightning Angel.
Yeah. An honest man.
I still do.
Yeah, an honest man, unfortunately.
Lightning Angel in Modern at Worlds.
Unfortunately, it turned at the same time as Flame Tongue Cabo, which sort of curtailed its ultimate power level in that standard.
Yeah, Flame Tongue Kavu was the sort of defining card for it very much had the Jace effect in terms of causing any sort of card of its cost or higher that did not interact with it favorably to just be completely not viable.
Young appears to be going into the tank about a potential mulligan here. And he is going to keep. Ancient Tomb, Chalice for one, and that's one of the potential devastating opens that Young has.
Yep. And Minkus clearly has no play in the face of the Chalice for one. Young looks like he has a City of Traders in his hand. I think I saw a gnome.
Yeah. So we are going to tap the tomb and take 2 for the gnomes.
Uh-oh.
Ding! Boom! One spot, yeah.
Getcha!
This is a format full of busted interactions.
Here comes a gnome.
This was the best thing I could find to put Lightning Greaves on.
I think you can find something a little bit better next turn.
This could actually be game right here if he has the Colossus.
Just be over if he has Colossus, right? Ooh, he has Trinisphere.
Uh-oh, we're upgrading.
Uh-oh.
Dun 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 dun!
Dun, 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 dun. Here we go!
Hooray!
He gnomes out of Colossus on turn 3, and that's the game.
All right.
That's really a defining interaction of Legacy, is the Copper Gnomes putting out the Colossus,
This was a good,
which is then equipped with Lightning Greaves.
This was a good start.
Yeah,
this was a good
I'm
start
definitely,
to the day.
I'm definitely happy we got this match.
So Kelvin Young advances to 3-0. I watched him do something similar.